Hello and welcome. Today I'm sharing with you 8 tips to help small, recessed, hooded eyes look bigger and brighter. As women over 50, we're all going to experience some orbital fat loss, fat pad displacement, and some bone loss in our orbital area, which will make our eyes look, as we move into our wiser years, a little bit more recessed and a little bit more hollow looking. Some of us even have a natural genetic predisposition to small, tiny eyes like I do, recessed eyes, and a little bit of hooding. So we all have a unique shape to our eyes, but it's great, even as we move into our wiser years, to have a few tips in our makeup bag to combat some of these age-related changes. Or if you just naturally have tiny, recessed, and hooded eyes, I'm going to help you figure out how to make them lighter and brighter. The first tip I'm going to share with you is a concealer placement tip. Typically, I would put concealer in my inner corner where I have some darkening, under my under eye area, right in the center, and a little bit on the outside corner, and just blend it in with a blending brush. But today I'm going to show you a tip on how to get a lifted look to the under eye area. Any concealer you use is fine. I'm just going to show you the strategic ways to place it. I've already put in some color correction so that my lids are kind of uniform. My placement on this eye is going to be in my typical spots, kind of right here, and then in this outer corner. And then I'll blend it out. And then on the right eye, I'm going to place it in my typical spots and then show you the extra step that I do to get that lifted look. All the products that I'm going to use today, I'll put in the description down below and a pinned comment so that you have access to them. But you can really do this with any of your concealers. I have my concealer placed and I'm just going to tap it in with my finger. I find that tapping concealer in makes the under eye area for mature eyes look a little bit more seamless than blending it out with a brush. It just looks like it becomes one with your skin. So I'm going to do this on both sides, and then I'm going to show you the tip that I learned to give that lifted look. Okay, so that's my typical concealer placement, and here's the tip. You're going to take your concealer. I always put my concealer on the back of my hand and then apply it with my brush. I'm using the BK Beauty brushes today, and this is the BK Beauty 207 brown brush. So here's my tip. You're going to place 3 dots in the outside corner, and you're going to sweep it up with your finger and blend it in and give your eye a little bit of a sweep and a lift. See how that gives my eye a lifted look and just brightens up the under eye area. The next 4 tips are all about shadow placement. I'm going to put in my all over color over my lid and show you the tip that I do to brighten up and make my right eye larger looking. I'm just going to apply a neutral shade to all over my lids on both sides. Lid. The tip to making your eye larger and brighter is to apply a satin color in the same shade right under the brow bone. As you can see, that slight difference in texture under the brow bone just opens the eye right up. My next tip is all about where to place your crease shade. Typically, we would put the crease shade in the crease area. If you place your crease color in the natural crease, as you can see, it makes the eye look more recessed. What you want to do is take your crease color and put it slightly above where your natural crease sits. See how this already is opening up the eye and making it look larger? If you have recessed hooded lids, it is critical to get the lid color correct. Often, if you choose too dark a shade, you're going to have a more hollow, deeper, recessed look to the eye, whereas if you do a pop of color, your eye is going to come forward and it's going to be lighter and brighter. I have a preference for applying my lid color with my finger, so I'm going to tap that in over the mobile lid in the shade that I think is really too dark for small eyes. Then I'm going to tap in a lighter and brighter color that's going to really make my eye pop. You can already see my right eye is already starting to pop forward even before I start to blend the shades, and my left eye is starting to slowly recede back and look darker and less awake. Now, I like to also make sure that the lighter color that I put over the mobile lid has a little satin texture to it. I just think a satin is a nice way to really get the catch of light on your eye and really make your eyes pop. The next tip, some of you might strongly disagree with me because it's really just become the norm to add in a color along the outer crease. I'm going to recommend, if you have small, tiny recessed eyes and want a more awake look, to skip that step. I'm going to place my crease in this outer corner. Typically, we add a darker color to the outer crease, sometimes bring it a little bit down below, and then blend everything toward the center to give that seamless look. On my correct side, I'm not going to put any color in the crease area. And we're just going to blend all this together toward the center. The secret to any great eyeshadow look is the blending. At the very last step, you're going to blend all your colors toward the center. So that's my left side, and now I'm going to blend my right side. Okay, so that's all the shadow is blended. My next tip is a mascara tip. I already have a couple layers of mascara, but I'm going to add my third layer. So I'm not going to add any mascara to the lower lash line on the correct side. You can see how adding mascara to my lower lash line closes up the opening to my eye, whereas the side that doesn't have mascara is brighter, wider, and more open looking. The next recommendation I have for you is about tightlining. My recommendation is not to tightline at all. And if you do, I have a tip for what type of tightlining you should do. Now, on the wrong side, I'm going to tightline both the upper and the lower lash line. You can very clearly see how tightlining both my upper and lower waterlines has made my eye look smaller and slightly squinted looking, whereas leaving the tightlining off keeps my eye awake and bright. If you want to glam up small recessed eyes with tightlining, the key is to pick a bright shade. This will give your eyes a nice pop and is a great way to glam up for the evening. You can also put a little dot of the lighter shade eyeliner in the corner and really brighten things up. The last tip I have for you is how to camouflage the delineation between your cheek and your orbital bone. When you have recessed eyes, there's usually a clear distinction between your orbital bone and your cheek, but I have a tip for you that will help you seamlessly fix this area so that they blend together. You're going to take your blush. I love a cream blush, and this is going to look crazy at first, but you're going to bring your blush a little bit higher than you typically would. And it's just going to seamlessly disguise that recessed area and make it blend in with your cheek. And you're going to bring it all the way out. That way your blush seamlessly blends into the under eye area so that you don't have that delineation between the orbital bone and your cheekbone. Let me know if you try one or all 8 of these eye brightening tips. We all have uniquely shaped eyes, so one recommendation might work better than another. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know how it goes, and wishing you all a fantastic day.